try closing it and reloading it.
We're live. Hello.
Oh, good.
Everybody. Hi, Milena. Thank you for watching. So for those who are here and those who will be watching after this is live, welcome to my channel, to the first Tolkien Middle-earth Cookalong. We'll be cooking a recipe from the Middle-earth recipe book, which, there it is. Continue. The name and the author will be in the description below, so you can go check it out for yourself if you want to. And it's full of fun recipes from different parts of the Middle Earth. We chose one from the Shire. We're doing Westfarthing Fairings, which are biscuits that are hopefully easy to make. It says 35 minutes, so we're hoping for the best. And yeah.
You want me to read? Yeah. This is really exciting. It's so weird because it feels like we're just having a Zoom call. But I'm like, no, people are watching.
People are.
But yes.
Do you want to read the little thing about?
Yeah. Sure. So the Shire is divided into 4 regions called farthings, from the Old English fjorthing or fourth part. Westfarthing is home to the capital of the Shire, the town of Mickledelving, I guess, and Hobbiton, where Bilbo and Frodo's home, Bag End, is located. We think these little cookies pair perfectly with a cup of tea and are perfect for serving to guests who visit in between those 6 Hobbit meals.
Yes.
So they sound yummy.
Yes, they do. And also, apart from just cooking while we're cooking, we thought to make it interesting, we're going to do the Tolkien tag. And also, we made questions for each other based on Middle-earth and everything. So it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Elena. This is my sister's dress. I stole it from her, so.
Nice.
I didn't put the recipe in the description. Should I do that? I don't know. Do
I
people
don't know.
want to do this?
Let us know in the chat and we can put it in at some point when we're done filming, maybe, if you're interested.
Yes, let us know. I have nothing prepared. So it's a very, it's an easy recipe. They're not even eggs. It's just flour and a bunch of what are those called? Spices?
Yeah.
The butter and sugar.
Mm-hmm. So, fingers crossed. It looks very straightforward.
Right? Yes.
My oven takes forever to heat up, so I'm going to jump ahead and turn that on.
Oh, that's right. It's good.
Because
how hot is it supposed to be?
350 Fahrenheit, which I have no idea what that is in Celsius.
180 Celsius. Mine is Celsius for some reason.
Oh, nice.
I got the ebook of the recipe book, and while we were talking about it, there are some differences in ingredients and stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know why.
And then I think we're making some substitutions as well. So
yes,
hopefully we'll come up with something that looks roughly similar.
180. Okay, done. So I need a bowl, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I swear. Okay, we have 100 grams of flour.
Ooh, yours is in grams too.
Yes. If you need what they are, I can help you out.
No, mine's in cup measures, which is what I know I should be baking in grams and using a scale, but I don't because I sub out my flour for gluten-free flour, and all the other ingredients are fine, but the gluten-free flour apparently weighs totally differently to regular flour, whereas by volume it's the same. So I kept having cakes that were totally collapsed. It's because 1 cup of gluten-free flour is 1 cup of regular flour, but 100 grams is not at all the same.
Yes, because
so I will be going with the
interesting
cup measures.
So I guess you're doing the gluten-free version, right?
Yeah.
I will be using whole wheat flour, so whole wheat version. So none of us will be doing the original recipe. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So in terms of questions, why don't we start with the Tolkien tag? Because I feel like it's more like basic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Oh, it's a little.
Do you want to start? How does your Middle Earth story begin?
I did not know what that meant. Like, how did I first learn of Lord of the Rings?
That's how I interpreted it.
Perfect. Hi, Lady Jane. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I have like a very distinct memory. I think it was second or third grade. I think second. I was like 8. My mom was picking me up from school, and she told me, I like remember the hallway we were walking down, and she was saying that, oh, I got you a present. I bought you Lord of the Rings. And I had no idea what that meant. And the word for like Lord of the Rings in Russian sounds like a different word, so I thought it was a completely different thing, and I was just like, what does this mean? I don't understand. And then I read it with my dad. He read the books aloud to me in the evening.
Nice.
I continued on myself. He does not like scary stuff. There were parts when he was scared to continue, and I was like, no, Dad, let's see what happens with the spider. So that's my story.
Oh, that's really cool. I actually, well, my initial introduction to Lord of the Rings was when I was a toddler, and there is an adorable photo of me at about, I think, a year or two. Yeah, it's got to be like less than, about a year old, I guess, sitting on the floor with my parents had like a 3 books, like in 1 volume type edition of it. And I've just ripped the cover off. I was a terrible child. Like, I feel like my love of books now must be because as a toddler, I ripped so many apart.
It's like you're guilty.
And the terrible thing is, my parents kept that edition. So, like, 15 years later, when I read it for the first time, it was that edition I had destroyed as a toddler. But then,
what kind of edition was it?
It was just like I think it was cloth bound.
Ooh, fancy.
But like it was, I'm trying to think. It wasn't like super fancy, but it was a pretty nice edition that I must have ruined. And then, yeah, we just had it like, I think it maybe had like one of its covers still or something, but it was basically like an unbound book that, like, my parents apparently decided, hey, we like this edition enough that we're gonna move it back across the Atlantic, because I destroyed it in Sweden, and then we still had it when I was a child growing up in Canada. So, but then I actually got into.
Horrible. Oh my god! That's you like read the same book.
I know, like it haunted me. I think my parents still have it. But then I actually got into it when I want to say I was like 10 or so, probably. And the extended editions were coming out on DVD, and my parents were renting them and watching them. And my actually first introduction was, I sat down like 20 minutes from the end of Fellowship of the Ring and started watching with them. So I had no idea what was going on. I was just like, okay, I'm going to watch this. And then from then on out, I watched the movies and then eventually read the books.
Oh, so you watched the movies first? Yeah,
I'd seen the movies like probably 4 or 5 times before I read the books. And then I think I was a teenager before I actually read them. They were always sort of intimidating.
Well, I guess I don't remember being intimidated because I guess when I was that age I didn't care. It's actually funny that my mom bought me the books because she is like the last person who would ever be interested in this, and I thought she was just like, oh, looks interesting for the child. And to this day, whenever I was rewatching one of the films, she would be like, why are you watching something so scary? Don't watch this before bed. I'm like, these are just orcs, Mom. I know them. I've seen them many times. Okay, Ginger. We're not really talking through what we're doing, but if anyone's interested, it's just a bunch of spices. I'm trying to measure them. Lady Jane says, I also watched the movies, but definitely did not read the books. I think most people watch the movies, either reading the books or not reading books at all. which is I think actually it's pretty cool that I think the reason that my mom bought it was because the first film just came out. I think it was like around 2001.
Right.
Actually, the editions that I had were like movie tie-ins. They had the actors on all the covers. And if the movie was not popular, the book would not have had like a comeback. And I would never. So awesome.
And they're one of the few book series where I feel like the movies are incredible in their own right. Like, I love them both.
Yeah.
And I have a huge love for the books, but I don't feel like with so many other book series that have been adapted, if you only ever watch the movies, you're really missing stuff. Whereas with these, it's like, no, they're incredible. You're still going to love them. They're still enjoyable. They're still great. They're still very worth loving, even if you don't want to take on a book of that size, which fair.
Lady Jane asks, what are we making today? We are making Westfarthing Fairings, which are delicate biscuits that are perfect with a cup of tea, which are apparently, well, not really, but apparently from one of the regions of the Shire. I actually was wondering who this guy is that made this book. Like, where did he come up with it? Looking through recipes, and there were some that just did not make sense. Like, why would this be here?
Yeah. It's a very varied book. Some of them are like, oh yeah, that's exactly how I would have imagined that from the description from the movies or the books. And then some I'm just sort of like, you're kind of filling this out, aren't you? But a lot of them do look tasty. Just sort of, okay.
Yeah. It just says from legends, and I'm just like, Middle Earth legends or like actual Celtic?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes, perfect with a cup of tea. Okay, question number 2 was, what is your favorite Middle Earth book? Good luck.
I can't choose. Like, honestly, I think whichever one I'm currently reading or have most recently read is my favorite. I think I like The Lord of the Rings a bit more than I like The Hobbit or The Silmarillion, and I haven't read like the whole histories of Middle Earth stuff yet. I haven't gotten into that, but Lord of the Rings has a slight edge, but within Lord of the Rings, I can't possibly choose. They're all like if I'm reading Fellowship, I'm like, this is amazing, this is so good, and then I get to Return of the King, I'm like, no, this is clearly the best one. So yeah.
I've also read Lord of the Rings. No, I read Hobbit as well, but it was many years ago. But I didn't read the Silmarillion. You can never pronounce that one.
It's so hard.
Or any other, but I read the books many years ago, many moons ago, and this summer I reread them for the first time, which was an experience. And the first movie is not my favorite one. So I was like, well, this is going to be like a filler one. But actually, I think it's my favorite book because, first of all, it gives a lot of information. And as someone, I rewatched movies so many times that like I had my own like questions, like, why is that? Why is that again? Like, I need a little more information. So actually getting that information was awesome. Information that I completely forgot. And yeah, the rest of like the second movie is one of my favorite movies, but the book I didn't enjoy as much. It's just interesting. And movies are not the same, even though like the stories.
Like they've made choices in the movies that I think work really well for the story and like where they're going to go to and like what's going to be in what movie.
Yeah.
I think especially with the second, just makes the second movie more satisfying than the second book. The second book is sort of
100%, yeah.
Yeah, especially where you just switch to that like completely separate telling where you're like, oh, okay, we're just going to forget about Frodo and Sam for a while. And then we're going to have a whole book of them just basically going hiking. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but in past rereads, I've actually skipped those sections of just being like, no, it's too much. It's too much Frodo and Sam. And then this time around, I read them and really loved them, but it took me like 4 or 5 readings to get to that point of loving those like Frodo, Sam, Gollum sections of the books.
Well, interesting. When I rewatch movies, I always skip those.
Huh.
Because I hate the Frodo, Sam Gollum because it's weird. And so when I saw that in the books, it's like whole, like it's not just like one chapter this, it's like half of the book. I was really sad about it, but I actually loved it. It was so good. But then the part that I love, which is the Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, which I love in the movies, I didn't like as much in the book.
Huh.
It was interesting, especially like the battle of, what is that battle? The Rohan
Helm's
battle.
Deep?
Helm's Deep, yes. In the books, it's not at all the way it is in the movies. In the movies, they really, like, when I rewatched it especially, I was like, oh, like, you're really making us care about these people with the music and the slow motion, with the little kids, with the little swords.
Yeah.
In the book, there's none of that. It's very like, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And I guess I really liked the movie version where, like, you're really made to want them to win and to really fight, and like, yes, the underdog, they don't have enough men, but they can do it. You don't get that in the book.
No, for sure. I think the movies really amped up all of the like intensity, and it works so well for the like more action-based half.
Yeah.
But then I think the reason I didn't like the Frodo Sam half was because I don't love those scenes in the movies. And I was reading along this time and going like, wait, when's this gonna happen? Oh, that only happens in the movies, and I didn't realize because it's been so long since I read this part of the book. So,
well, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think why I like the book version of Sam and Frodo is because it's less emotional. Like, just happening, and that's interesting what's happening. And in the Aragorn and Gimli, whatever, there's no emotion there as well, and that's where I want the emotion, if that makes sense. But in the movies, Frodo and Sam, it's too much like, oh, we're suffering, and I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
I guess that segues. Yes, I guess that segues well to the third question. What is your favorite movie?
I can choose between the second and the third because there's such like different vibes, because I love Rohan, I love the music of it, the vibe of it. But then Return of the King, oh my God, especially like the end when they are all like cleaned and dressed up and they go to Mordor. Makes me so happy.
This one, Return of the King, narrowly wins. Like it's so close, but there's two of my favorite scenes from like all of movies ever in Return of the King. The one where they're like lighting the beacons and calling for Rohan to come and help. And that scene, like, my partner laughs at me so much, but I just get so emotional. Like, it's like such incredible like filming and music and everything. And then the speech that Theoden gives at the big battle at Minas Tirith, just like every time, like that's the speech that I go watch on YouTube when I like need to be like, yes, I can do this. So for those two scenes, Return of the King wins, but like they're all so good.
So many good scenes. And I like that where we get more of Merry Pippin being like, they represent you, like the reader.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you go be in this war. You're like, what? No, I'm scared. I want to be
here.
Hi, Books Yada Yada. Welcome. I have a question for you. So it says finely grated zest of 1 lemon, and I have like a whole thing of zest, and I don't know how much is 1 lemon.
Not that much. I zested a whole lemon, admittedly not that aggressively, and it was like maybe half a teaspoon.
Okay, because I bought a whole thing.
That's so cool. I've never seen like packaged lemon zest. We get packaged lemon juice, like you can buy like a little bottle full of it, but I've never seen the zest.
Yeah, there was another option which was oranges, zest of oranges.
Oh, cool.
That's good. Okay. All right. What is the next question? Movies or books? We've already mentioned that, both because they're very different and they're
both amazing.
Yes. Who are your favorite characters? There's also question number 10, favorite character again. So
Yeah.
that's 2 times. You can, choose whatever, however many you want. I know mine. Mine is very easy.
For this one, because I apparently answered totally different answers for the 2 questions, I went with Sam, who I never appreciated as a younger person. When I was a kid, I was like Legolas and Aragorn, and even Gandalf was really cool, but I never But the older I get, the more I'm like, yes, Sam is incredible and amazing and just so wonderful, and I love him so much.
When I reread, oh, by the way, I want to mention that I am substituting. So there's castor sugar and golden syrup or maple syrup. I'm gonna use some sugar, but less than what it says here because I always use less. And I did a date paste, made a date.
Nice.
I used to substitute sugar with. I didn't eat sugar for 1 years ago, and
okay,
for all baking. And just it changes the texture, makes it more cakey, more.
Oh, nice.
Not as crispy as sugar would do.
I'm using icing sugar and corn syrup, so the as opposite of that as possible. But I bought this big what is this jar thing of it a while back, and I use it for literally one recipe. It uses 2 tablespoons, and I make it every 4 months. So I'm like, okay, I've got to use it wherever possible, or I'm going to have this one until I'm 70.
My favorite character, Faramir, is
yes.
I always like Faramir, right? But in the movies, they really did him wrong.
They really did.
Why does he make the wrong decision in the movies?
Yes.
He's perfect. Everything he says, everything he does. I have so many highlighted areas, and there's you're a baby Faramir, you're the best. He's the golden character. There's nothing wrong with him. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. And I love him. And I also wrote Gandalf because I didn't remember how much of a sassy queen he was. And even Aragorn sometimes, Aragorn is not as how do I say this, as self-aware as I thought he was when I was rereading. There are times when he acts like, I am Aragorn, and then Gimli and Legolas make fun of him, all right, calm down. We get it. You're a king. And that was really fun because I always idolized Aragorn, but then reading now about him, it's kind of oh, you are arrogant. You're definitely you're great, but you're definitely arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What Middle-earth race would you be?
I always my ideal version of myself is an elf, but realistically, my real personality is 100% Hobbit. There's no denying it.
Whoa.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I love the hobbits, but other than being moderately tall, it's yeah, absolutely. I'm not made for being elegant and graceful and very yes, I am serene and wise. I'm just could not pull that off.
But they are in their own way.
True.
It's
what
just
about
that
you?
People look down on them because of their size.
Yeah.
Elegant inside. That is a great answer, actually. What if you're half elf and half hobbit?
No, that's a sitcom I need to see.
What parts will be which? Well, the ears will be. They have similar ears, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll be in short forever hobbit, or like a tall hobbit. And no one would take you seriously in Shire because you'll be the tall weirdo
Yeah.
who's too wise. Shut up and just bring us the next meal.
Enough of this, like, hours long songs about history. Like, if this song doesn't involve me drinking beer at the end, I'm not into it. And you're just there like, no, you don't understand.
I've always fantasized of being, I'm not interested in being like fully elf because I feel like that's too much pressure. That's too like idealistic version. So I was not either human or half human, half elven. And I like the idea of being sort of like around elves, but having all the flaws of humans and just being like, Phil, or something, just being like extra around all of these very serene people.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I don't know, I just felt like I feel very human. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to imagine being an elf because they're so different.
Yeah. Is it gonna be boring?
Yeah.
But like when I was thinking of answers for other questions and I was thinking of different parts of Middle Earth, I was thinking of like, I like Rivendell more than any other part where it's very intensely elf community because I feel like it's a little more mixed. So they have other races coming through. So they're a little more down to earth. Because even the scenes of Galadriel, like that does not sound like a place I would want to live in. It sounds awesome, living on trees. It's all like, ooh.
It's like you want to stay there at an Airbnb for a long weekend, but you don't want to like have to live there.
Yeah, like I need something in my life happening. I like conversation. I'm an extrovert. I don't see elves being very extroverted.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like how do you say that? Oh my god, like I forget. What are those places where like a religion, but it's not a religion, and people get like
cult?
Yes. Looks like a cult to me. Like all very
true.
All like having the rituals, and it sounds very to me.
That's fair. I'm gonna duck out of frame and wash my hands real quick. All right, sorry for that interruption. Then we get to who do you think is the best actor/character casting match?
Ooh, my first thought was Viggo Mortensen, just because that was like a instant crush.
Yeah.
When I saw him at like 9 years old, and I still, Viggo Mortensen. But there's so many incredible ones. Actually, when I was thinking of other actors, I realized the only person who I don't really like is Elijah Wood as Frodo. I think
interesting.
Almost like he tried too hard. I don't know. Like there's so much like unsettling and so sad that I don't feel a lot of compassion towards him. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What?
Sorry. I feel like I'm a bit biased on this because I saw the movies first. So like I didn't have my own like mental picture of who these characters were before I saw the movies. But I think my favorite is Gandalf because even reading them now, like the other characters, I can see how you could have gone in a different direction. But with Gandalf, I'm just like, no, this is any other drawing or description or something like that just feels totally wrong to me because Ian McKellen does it so well and like they're totally melded in my brain.
I agree 100%. And actually that reminds me, why I think Frodo isn't Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, so now we have to like go in with our fingers with the butter and everything. So it's about to get messy.
Oh, I already did that part. Sorry.
I'm behind. Okay, I just have to, feels weird touching food. It's because, especially when I was rereading the books, Frodo is like 50. He's not like a teenager.
It's
He looks
true.
like a scared, insecure teenager, and Frodo is very much like a man. Like
That's true.
accountant who was in the same job for years, and now he's like made to do something heroic. And I just didn't see that. It's not necessarily like wisdom, but I don't know. Like
No, they really skipped that. Like, hey, this is like 30 years later. He's not just out of his teens part. Like, I get that that's probably hard to explain on screen and stuff, but
yeah, he looks young, but he's also with like Merry and Pippin. I was surprised in the beginning of the book because they are not at all described as these like silly little friends. One is like a realtor or something, like they have businesses. They are also like established men. And then of course in the books they sort of develop, you see their personalities a little more and they do get a little more silly. But in the beginning they're absolutely not described like that.
Yeah.
Surprised. I was like, oh wait, where is the Merry Pippin I know? Who are these businessmen?
Right.
Who are helping Frodo sell his house.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm like reading fan fiction actually. Okay, so I got something you can't see. You can't see.
Oh, nice.
What's next? Until the mixture resembles fine breadcrumbs, stir in the sugar, add the syrup, and mix together with a spoon. Oh, I mixed everything together.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Squeeze the crumbs together with your hands to form a ball. I'm not there yet. I need to mix a little more.
I need to mix my syrup in.
So, what is your favorite place in Middle Earth? That was the hardest one.
It really was. I think I'm totally biased by the movies here, but it has to be Rohan. Just because, like, I connect with them so much in the movies. Like, I think it's purely the music. I just, like, it goes right into my heart and, like, does things to it. But
yeah,
it just sounds really incredible.
With the horse.
What about you? Yeah.
I think I wrote down, I like big cities. I'm a city girl, and I like having people from all over around me. So something that is like a metropolis. So
right.
I also wrote Rivendell because that's also where a lot of people go through. So it's
right.
Like, but it's also like around other cultures. And also where Legolas is from. I don't remember what it's called. The Blue? No, not the Blue Mountains.
Mirkwood.
Yes, Mirkwood. Because again, based on the movies, it looks awesome.
That's true.
Even though there's not, I mean, there are the like Lake Town and stuff. They're around, and I like that it's a forest, and they look a little more down to earth than the Galadriel group because those
it's
are really
true.
These are less culty. They also like drink and party, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, they do seem a lot more like chill elves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a party person, but I don't want to be the party person. You know what I mean? Like around.
Yeah, you want to be the not party person who's like, cool, I'm gonna leave now, as opposed to,
yeah,
guys, this is so boring.
Just stop. I kind of want to be that person. I just want to be like, you know what? You party on. I'll go read my book.
Yeah.
What is your favorite quote from the books or movies?
I think it's the same for both. It's the speech that Theoden gives before that big battle, which I mentioned earlier. It just like, yeah, is so. It's like that one and the Legally Blonde, like montage where she's like, I'm gonna get my life together and actually do law school well. Those are like the two things that I'm like, these are the most motivational things in the world and could get me through anything.
That's so interesting.
What about you?
That's the thing I did not. I'm not ready for this question.
That's fair.
Like the thing that Gandalf says to Frodo. I don't remember where it was in the books, but in the movies when they were going through Moria, the whole thing of like life just hands you things, and it may not be fair, but you have to do what you can with the time you have. Like
that's
is just so universal, I think, for the human condition.
Yep. That's really good.
Okay, so my bowl is done. Let me show you my bowl. My little bowl.
Oh, nice. I'm still working things in, but I've got some crumbs still that I'm going to try and get into it. But then I'm close to the rolling into a log stage.
Okay. Wait, what do I do next? Shape the dough into a log, then slice into 12. Roll each piece into a bowl. Arrange 2 large grease. Like, how large? Do you think this will be fine?
Probably.
Just one? I don't have a lot
You could always do it in 2 batches too. Like if it's looking like there's not enough space, you can bake half. And then when they come out, bake the other half.
I like the way you think. Parchment paper.
Oh, I should have got parchment paper out. That's a good idea.
Sometimes for gift wrapping.
Nice.
And it looks very like cool and crafty, but yeah. Okay, next. We did the Tolkien tag. We can move on to our...
Yes.
Okay, let's do like one of yours, one of mine.
Sounds good. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, we already said this. I said, if you could be someone in Middle Earth, who would you be? Race, location, occupation, political views, stuff like that. And sorry. Do you
no, you go ahead.
I said half human, half elfin, soldier / princess.
I love it.
Princess is the official job, okay?
Yes.
And or like not necessarily a princess, but like a leader of some sort. Maybe like leader of the guards or something. I have a group that I'm leading. And yeah, that's it. I always pictured the whole like obsession with Lord of the Rings when I was younger led me to be like, I have this image in my head that I'm so obsessed with of me riding on the horse in a beautiful dress, usually green because I love green, my hair all pretty, with a sword in my hand, raised high, and my army behind me, and running towards a castle or something that we're trying to liberate or something. Towards war.
I love it.
My sword. And when I was 23 and I started fencing class, I was actually stage combat in my school, and we were in a circle, and I had to say like, why are you interested in stage combat? Like, what made you interested in this? I was the weirdo who said that. And they all looked at me like, what?
Like, you're supposed to say, because I want to do Shakespeare and I want to be good at fight scenes or something, not admit that you actually want to do cool stuff.
Yeah, like, I like Pirates of the Caribbean, like that cool scene. I'm like, I'm on a horse. I'm about to fight you. So yeah, and that's why I also wanted to learn horse riding, just because I have that. Like, I want to learn how to fight on a horse.
That is so cool.
So that's me. What about you?
I would definitely be like a hobbit, but like a Frodo style hobbit who basically just chills all the time and is like, hey, if I want to go do some gardening, like, I can, but I don't have to garden all the time. I can just sit inside and read my books and then like go hiking and go for walks and have that sort of life. honestly what I plan to do in retirement. Like,
I was thinking like, okay, Lana, you can be a soldier princess, whatever, but like I wanted to come up with something cool. Like I want to be a business person somewhere. Like invent a service or a product and just be like a salesperson and do like really good in like a region. But I couldn't figure out of a cool business because like I could be a hobbit, but I will be a business hobbit. I will create this thing.
I love it.
Millionaire hobbit. I will invent Starbucks for hobbits or something.
They would love that.
Like something they don't know they need, you know?
Yeah.
A question that I think, yes, a question that I came up with, the third one of mine was, what modern food would you recommend to the characters? And I was thinking like, that's something like, what can I offer the elves that they don't know they need, but that I know they need? Maybe in a big city where there are different races and like the food that would be very good for these people or these people, but I don't know anything. Milena says I would also be anything that can ride a horse with at least 50% of the day. Yes, I mean, would be so sore, but sure. Business hobbit, says Lady Jane, right? Like I can see it on the little pony, like
yeah,
strategy. Yes. Okay, then there's your question. Based on vibes, where do you think your favorite place to eat in Middle Earth would be?
So I feel like I'm so basic in this. Day to day, it'd be 100% the Shire. Like they feel like they have really good, like just everyday stuff. But then I'd want to go to like Rivendell or Lothlorien for like special occasions. Like, you know, when you want to get up and go to like get dressed up and go to a fancy restaurant and be like, oh, we're really celebrating. Then I'd want to go to like one of those places and feel like, oh man, this is so fancy and so just, yeah.
Based on vibes, I think I would want to be somewhere between the Shire and Rivendell, because I kind of want the like salad food of Rivendell. I want an avocado toast to be part of the menu, but also like organic stuff from the Shire. Like
yes.
Or like a beef stew or something that I don't think Rivendell.
Yeah.
Something more hard.
Like Rivendell would be like exquisite, beautiful, delicious, but like that kind of fancy, like everything's just a bit too small.
I'm just scared to feel vegan, so I need to like
true
to the Shire. Nothing against vegans, by the way. Just a preference. Okay, next. What's the one food mentioned in the books that you remember being very curious about?
Gandalf has this drink that he gives them on various points in Fellowship of the Ring that I think Elrond gives him or something. It's basically this thing where you take like a tiny sip and it's like magic and it makes you feel so much better and feel like, oh man, I can get through this. And it's just like, okay, what is this magic like antidepressant drink? What does it taste like? How do we get it?
Espresso.
True.
What kind of log? How like?
Yeah, mine look basically like that.
It looks so cool.
It does.
Okay. Wait, what was the question? The food mentioned.
Always
very
what
curious.
Food? Yeah.
Lembas bread. Like, I want to know the consistency. There is, by the way, a recipe for it in the book. If you guys are interested, we can do that one. I kind of want to try myself. It looks like cornbread, but
yeah, it's not at all what I imagined as lembas, but it sounds yummy. So
yeah, because like what kind of? Because the way it's described, that it's not just like it doesn't just like it lasts you a long time and you don't feel hungry anymore, but it's also like good enough that you can eat it for many, many months and not be tired of it. So interested in that one. Lady Jane says it's called alcohol, the drink. It's a little vodka. Vodka. Okay. Next, if you had a bar, pub, or tavern in Middle Earth, like the Green Dragon or the Prancing Pony, what would you call it? Mine, kind of lame, but I called it the Empty Barrel, based on
that's
the
really good.
of it, because it looks like a belly and it's empty. So the first one, the demo version of the name was the Hungry Barrel. I don't know which. I went to the metaphor.
This was a classic case of the tag creator who's like, I made this question and then I couldn't figure out my own answer to it because I was like, oh, that'll be a fun thing to think up. And then I was sitting there last night being like, fuck, what do I call it? So I'm going to go with an orc bar and call it the hair of the warg, like the hair of the dog. And it wouldn't actually be a bar I'd want to run because I'd like, a cute little hobbit bar. And I imagine an orc bar would be like a biker bar or something with, pretty rough and like.
Is it like a sports bar for orcs?
Yeah. And, people are breaking into fights and like, it's very rowdy and stuff, but that was the best name I could come up with.
I like it. I'm so confused. So the thing with this book, which I'm not loving, is that it doesn't have pictures. So we have no idea how it's supposed to look in the end. And so even like the log, how long is the log? I don't know. Slice into 12 slices. How big are the slices? I don't know.
I did mine by doing like in half and then into quarters. And then I'm cutting the quarters into 3 because, I would get totally random. Okay, I don't think it really matters though.
Well, I'm guessing it says that they will, like, what's it called? They will melt. And I don't want it to be like a giant biscuit.
True.
I don't know. I'm gonna mix it back again and make it into a bowl again.
Sounds good.
Okay, next. Well, yes. What modern food would you recommend to the characters?
So, I don't know if this is a thing in Russia at all, but in like hiking circles in North America, there's this food called gorp, GORP, which stands for good old raisins and peanuts, which is basically like
trail mix.
Trail mix basically. And it almost always has some sorts of nuts and some sort of dried fruit. And then now it usually includes things like M&Ms or chocolate covered espresso beans or stuff like that as well. And I just feel like that's what they need on these journeys. Like they need something in their pocket to just be like tossing back and like, you need an M&M sometimes.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. A lot of people are traveling and they need like traveling food.
Yeah.
The one that for some reason I was thinking like street food. They need street food. You can't always sit down and you don't have the time. You're running around. You have a lot of ground to cover, right? Especially if you're in a tall people place. And the thing that I kept coming back to, and I think it's like my years in New York, the halal guys.
Yes.
Like they need something fast with meat, mystery meat.
You can just see it popping up on the corner in Minas Tirith in like a little wooden cart too.
Some Jewish food in Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
It would be good because, I mean, it's delicious and Paperback Mo says love gorp. Does it actually pronounce gorp?
I assume so. It's one of those words that I've mostly seen written, not actually spoken. So I assume it is.
Okay.
Then what was my next question?
7.
Ooh. Which character would stress you out the most if they showed up unannounced at your house for dinner? Like the dwarves do in The Hobbit.
Yes. I have 2 answers. First, Gollum, just because.
Yeah, fair.
You don't want to be around Gollum. Also because the thing about my life is super organized the way I like it. And I think he would stress me out with his ways and I would stress him like the fuck out because I would like boil the potatoes and stuff. Like, why would you do that? So not a good match. And but the biggest one is Gandalf, because I said, "What you planning?" Like,
Yep.
why, out of all the Earth, you decided to visit me? Like, no,
Yep.
sir. No. Look away. Don't make me a part of your scheme, please.
Fair. For me, it would be Galadriel. I think the others, like, if Gandalf or Aragorn showed up, like, that would be stressful because it's like, oh man. But I feel like they're both very, like, chill dudes who'd be like, hey, I've been sleeping in a bush for like 3 weeks. Whatever you've got, I'm happy to eat. But Galadriel, it feels like it would be a mix of like the queen showing up unannounced, but
Like
also also that girl from school who was like, incredibly pretty and incredibly smart, but also just so lovely. The one who you like, if you were at all mean, I would hate you because you're perfect, but you're just too nice. So like, I can't not like you. And I would just feel like, I feel like Galadriel showing up would make me feel like I'm 13 again and be like, oh man, I'm so self-conscious of everything. And like, is this okay? You'd probably be better at this. I don't know.
She's also not very chatty, and I think with Galadriel, the way she looks at you, like she sees more, and she's not saying anything. So I'd be like, just say it. Just say it. I will be
Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, so that would definitely be stressful. Okay, so I'm coming up with like these tiny bowls.
Yeah, mine are super small. They're like really tiny.
Yeah, and it says to do like 6 on one.
Oh, I assume I have a bigger baking tray. I'm gonna try and lift it up without spilling it here, because mine, I've got, I'd say close to 2 inches between them. I know I'm rolling them everywhere, but
I can see them.
Yeah, like I think this is an okay. I can't. They're gonna be like,
I don't know how big they'll get.
Thin if they spread enough on the sheet to like combine. But this is a pretty big baking sheet, so
I have a small one, so I'm only putting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the sheet, and I hope they don't spread too much. I don't know. This looks big. No, I'll make less. I can do more.
Yeah.
How much do they? They're in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah. I'm ready to put mine in.
I am too. Yay. Fingers crossed.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh. Every single Saturday, I put my cast iron pan in the oven while I clean the stove. And every single Saturday, I forget that it is in there. I preheat the oven to bake something, and then have to get an oven mitt to take it out.
I've done that.
Okay, there we go.
Lady Jane says, "Look, those look great, Rosie." They do.
Oh, thank you.
I wonder how different they will end up because we're using sugar and different sugar. Okay, I need to wash my hands.
Sounds good.
Where are we now? Number 4, your favorite location. We did that. Let's not do that again. If you were having a big party, a big birthday party, like Bilbo's, what kind of cake would you have? I'm curious.
Okay, so my family is like a chocolate family. We all really like chocolate, and for me as a kid, and for like all of my siblings, my mom always made us chocolate cakes with chocolate icing for our birthdays. That was just like what we always had.
Classic.
So for me, a birthday cake is chocolate cake. And then I realized as an adult, most people think of like that cake with sprinkles in it as birthday cake. And I was very confused because I was like, no, sorry, like there's no chocolate on this cake. You expect me to eat that on my birthday?
I actually don't know the one with the sprinkles. I mean, I've seen it in movies, but I don't really have like a birthday cake thing.
Yeah, like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually make it.
Is it just like vanilla inside? Like it's just white inside with frosting, right?
Yeah, I think so. And like, no, I think it's like a vanilla cake with like sprinkles in the dough or the batter. So you get like the rainbow throughout, and then like usually vanilla icing. It's just like, I'm sorry if this is anyone's favorite. You have your favorites, but for me, it's just like everything's better with chocolate. So
Yeah, and if it's like a kind of party like Bilbo had with so many people, make them eat what you want.
What about you? What would be your ideal birthday cake?
I love carrot cake so much. And I found a recipe that I did for my birthday, and I just made for my dad's birthday as well because everyone loved it so much. So good. Yeah, I think I would do that, but I would be mean the way I am because I'm like, eat healthy, everybody. So it would be no sugar, it would be a substitute and less amount. I would use whole wheat flour and coconut oil instead of butter. Like, I would make people eat something and not notice that it's actually not
like
bad. Not that anything is bad, but like it's better for you. Healthy version of it, and it's still, you know, sweet and lovely. It has a vegetable in it, so
yeah.
So I people eat healthy. Where is it? I'm lost again. Okay, so
I think we're at your random I'm curious question.
Okay, so I wrote this. Do you remember that deleted scene from The Two Towers with Legolas and Gimli having a drinking game? By the way, do you?
Okay, yeah, I have thoughts on this, so finish your question and then I will.
And Legolas won because he didn't feel drunk. He had like, I feel a tingle in my fingertips. And Gimli was on the floor. Do you think they cut it out because it goes against the facts that elves in The Hobbit in Mirkwood were notoriously drunk on wine, so elves do get drunk? Or maybe it's a matter of what alcohol they drink. This has really been on my mind, not gonna lie.
Okay, so I almost exclusively watch the extended editions. I don't actually know if I've seen the like theatrical editions all the way through. So for me, that scene is in the movie every time. And I didn't realize it wasn't in the theatrical version. I mean, it makes sense because it doesn't actually add anything to the plot. It's just a cute character moment. Yes. But I think what I've been thinking about this since I read that question, and I think how I'm going to make it make sense is the elves have some sort of like, their own kind of alcohol, which they're calling it wine, but it's probably more like, you know, hard liquor or something by human standards. So Legolas is drinking this beer and it's like us drinking like, you know, 2% cider like they have in France at lunchtime and like, you know, kids drink it type thing. And we're going like, it's tough. This is basically apple juice. Because he's used to drinking wine that's actually like, you know, 40% alcohol or something.
Interesting.
This is pure speculation, but I think it makes the two like, you can make them match up that way if you think, that they're actually drinking something way stronger.
I'm thinking.
It's okay.
Maybe. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not 100% with you.
That's fair.
Because I think it's less about the alcohol. I mean, I'm sure they do have their own kind of weird herb alcohol, but maybe their drinks so much more. And such
that's also possible.
That like watching all of these humans and dwarves drinking beer and getting drunk is very cute.
Yeah, that's also like, very possible.
A bottle of vodka and drive home.
Yeah, fair.
Don't do that, kids. Don't do that. Yeah.
Another possibility is that he's at that point of drunkenness where like he's just barely holding it together. Like, you know, and you're like, you're drunk, but you've got to pretend not to be or something, and you're like, yeah, it's fine. I'm feeling it a bit in my fingers, and then like as soon as we cut away, he's like,
yeah. Because I would think like when I think about substances, I definitely see like dwarves drinking a lot, and hobbits as well, and humans. But like elves, like, drug people. Especially, I'm gonna go back to Galadriel and her cult. Definitely seem like they're doing something.
Yeah.
And in Mirkwood, it's a little like chiller.
I feel like Mirkwood are like the country cousins of the elves. Where like Rivendell and Lothlorien are like the more like, yes, we're very put together, we're very like elves, and we're not gonna let anything show, that would be embarrassing in front of anyone who's not an elf. Whereas, the Legolas's group are more like, yeah, we're having a beer on the porch, just chill.
Like, yeah, we're celebrating the holiday of light, my dragon. Yeah. Hey, Kieran. Oh, Milena said you would make amazing birthday party guests, a chocolate cake and a carrot cake. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know where I stand. There are so many good scenes that they cut out. And the last time I rewatched the short versions because I was watching on Netflix. They don't have the extended versions.
I know.
Which was so sad. There's some scenes that I'm just so used to seeing that when it wasn't there, I was like, whoa, wait. So yeah, that was weird.
Okay, my 8-minute timer has gone off. I'm gonna have a look at them.
I always think so.
They've spread some, but I think they want a minute longer. I'm gonna give them another 2.
Look at mine. Wait. They're just as round.
Oh yeah, yours haven't spread as much as mine. Mine are, well, a bit more.
Are you okay, guys? Well, I'm gonna wait for 1 more minute. So
yeah, it might be too that like the date paste is like more solid, possibly, because the corn syrup is like quite liquidy even at room temperature, so it might have gone like more.
Yeah, they're probably
liquid.
More.
Yeah.
Well, I have many more balls to go. Okay.
Then I think we're at my last question, which was, this is just a weird thought that came into my head last night, and weigh in the comments. Where do we think Gollum would stand on sashimi? Because like he's all about raw fish. And it is just raw fish, but then the image of Gollum like eating it with little chopsticks and dipping it in soy sauce is...
I wrote, it's too fancy for him. If you're used to eating raw fish, you're used to this time, you're used to, like, he's not even taking out the organs. And not speaking from experience, but from what I know, they are like bitter to taste. So I think meat would be so boring to him and be like, the flavor. I need that organ flavor and the slime.
That's a really good thought that I hadn't considered. My thought was that like he would pretend not to because he wouldn't want to admit that he liked it, but then secretly would be like, maybe I can get down with this. But that's a really good point. Like, it's like in the best way possible. Sashimi is the most like fresh, clean, like just pure good part of the fish. But yeah, he'd probably be like, what's going on here? It's like if you served him like, beautiful rabbit steak or something really rare, he'd be like, where's the fur? Where's the bits? Like,
fur. Okay, wait. Leave to harden for 2 minutes. Does that mean leave in the oven?
No, I think that means on the tray out of the oven.
Okay. Loosen what? It says
I think because it didn't say to line it, it probably expects them to be kind of stuck. Mine, actually, mine definitely need to harden before I try and do anything to them, or I'm gonna make mush.
I'm gonna wait for 2 minutes, and then transfer to a wire rack to cool completely. 2 minutes, okay.
They smell good at least.
They do. They smell like ginger cookies.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're like a cross between like gingerbread and shortbread almost. Like they're not really either.
What is shortbread? Is that with like a lot of
That's
butter?
like, yeah, the Scottish one that has like a lot of butter.
Yeah, I remember really loving them. Then I tried to make them, and I think seeing how much butter is in them, and when I eat it, like now I can feel it. Just how much butter it is that I'm not like I can eat one, but then I'm just like, oh my god, I'm eating a whole butter. Yeah, sometimes
I've tried making them.
You're like very aware of how is it made, and that freaks me out a little.
Yeah.
Milena says, I'm going to make dinner now, but thank you guys so much for the fun. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
I hope we inspired you to cook. Okay, 2 minutes have passed. They seem so cute.
They do. Ooh, yours look really solid. And now I'm gonna give mine another 40 seconds, but I'll pick them up in a. Oh,
I mean, I can squish them, but I don't want to squish them. I think they need to be a little hotter. They're still very warm. I think I'm gonna put them out of the hot, what's it called, the tray.
Yeah.
Put them cold so they can show. Where do I put them? They're so cute.
They really are. Okay. Okay, yeah, they're lifting off the tray well now. They're so tiny.
They are.
This is the like. This is probably embarrassing to say, but like, this is the most adorable sized batch of cookies. Like, it's, you know, to be fair, it's only 11 a.m. here, but like, I don't think these are gonna last the day in our house. They're just too small and cute.
Oh, they're very like spicy in terms of like I can feel the ginger and cinnamon.
Ooh.
They definitely need to cool more.
And mine look really different. Mine got like pretty spread out.
Yeah, I think
they're kind of like crinkly on top.
That's so, like, what sugar does. I have less sugar, and they are darker because I used whole wheat.
And the date.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Next batch. Okay, we are out of questions.
You've got one more, which I absolutely love. So, the brunch one.
Oh, right. The fellowship. Let's remind people who the fellowship is consistent of. We have Aragorn, Boromir, Legolas, Gimli, Gandalf, Sam, Frodo, Merry, Pippin.
Yep.
The 9. And where is it? What does everyone order? So I think you should go first and like tell me all of it.
Okay, so I didn't come up with exact answers for all of them, but like I feel like Legolas would go for like the really healthy oatmeal. You know, when you're at a brunch place and like there's, you know, eggs Benedict and all the like rich, like you wouldn't actually eat this for breakfast type stuff. Yeah. And then he gets the, you know, oatmeal with seasonal berries.
Which is pretty good.
No, like I eat that for lunch every day. But if I'm going for brunch, I want something fancy. The hobbits would definitely drink way too many bottomless mimosas. They'd just be like, oh my god, this is amazing. Yes, bring me more.
I need to change one of my answers now.
No, I want to hear yours. And then Gimli would order some sort of like, I don't know what it would be called. You know, the one, the farmer's breakfast, the, you know, whatever, worker's breakfast, like the one that's like, this is 4,000 calories of food, largely made up of various types of pork with, you know, bacon and sausages and I don't know, just like huge amounts of food with like a little wedge of tomato on the side to pretend it's got a vegetable in it.
Yes.
What were some of yours?
Okay. So, wait, what is this? Okay, I made a chart.
Ooh.
Let me see what I wrote. Okay, for Legolas, it's an avocado toast.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a Cali girl. Then for Frodo is an oatmeal with berries. Because he's a simple guy.
True.
He likes something that works. He's not very particular about food. He's not very like gourmet. Then there is Sam, who probably. Oh no! Wait. Oh yes, Sam wants to be like an elf. He's obsessed with elves, so he's wearing Legolas, and he gets an avocado toast to try it with a poached egg because that's a little close to him. Then Merry and Pippin go cray cray with a bunch of pancakes with all kinds of stuff on it. I'm going like very like American brunch.
Yeah.
So I'm not super well informed into like all the words, but like the pancakes with like the syrup and bacon and cheese, like all toppings.
Yep.
On the pancakes because they're like, who's paying? We're not paying. We're getting the biggest thing. Then Aragorn is very health conscious. Like he needs his protein, he needs his everything. So he is getting an avocado toast again because his time with the elves, with poached egg and with bacon. All out. Then not sure which of these is Gandalf, which of these is Gimli. I have two G's. For some reason, both of them are getting a sausage with hash browns.
Yeah.
Like something hearty.
Yep. And, Gandalf wants that, like, something to keep him warm when he's on his long travels type thing.
Yes. And he's not about to, I don't know, like he's not, what is that word? I'm forgetting all the words. He is not pretending to be anything that he's not.
Yep.
He's got this sausage. And also, both of them are getting mimosas because Gimli has never tried one and he's like, I'm not gonna get a mimosa, but then he's trying and then he is all over it.
Yes.
Yes. And then Boromir. Oh, I forgot Boromir. Did I mention Boromir? Yes, I did. No. Oh no, I
always forget him as well.
Sorry, Borbs.
I feel like he'd have some really particular, like, Minas Tirith brunch thing that he wants. And I don't know what it is. But he'd order, like, whatever's close to that and, like, sort of, like, quietly be like, we do it better back home.
I know exactly what he's getting. He is closing the brunch menu and saying, I'm getting a steak. Like, but sure. 11 a.m., like, I'm getting a steak. Rare.
Yes. Or like the American diner, like steak with a fried egg for breakfast thing. Like he would be into that.
Yes, like cholesterol special.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, reading the books, Boromir. Oh my God, like knowing his future.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're spoiling everything. So knowing how he dies. And also the movies, again, with the music, with the way they're filmed, you do feel so much compassion for all of them. And you see all the good sides of everyone. But reading the book, I was like, fuck you, Boromir. I hate you so much. Every time he would speak, shut up. Like, I was embarrassed for him. I'm just like, you're representing Gondor and you're not doing it.
Don't get how, like, small you are.
Yeah, he's like a frat boy.
Yes. And
that scene in the first book when he is chasing Frodo, like that dialogue, that really tipped me off. Because, oh my God, I don't even remember exactly what was said, but I remember just being like, you're not hearing the no. You're just barreling because you think you're right and you're not hearing the other person. So I was like, "Ugh, I don't want you to die, but then in contrast, Faramir is the
Yes.
and I think in the movies they did, well, I guess it makes sense why in the movies they made them a little more balanced and they showed the past of them being together and being brothers and loving
And
each
that really
other.
lifts Boromir up when you see that he wasn't part of his father's bullying. He was totally on his brother's side. That makes you more sympathetic to him in general. And
Yeah, I don't remember. I think I remember a scene in Return of the King. This may have been like a deleted scene of Faramir when he's young. Is there a scene?
There is a scene. There's a scene where they're like a few years ago, like before Boromir leaves to go to like Rivendell, where they've just saved Osgiliath and like
they're
like being bros.
Scene of him being in the halls of Minas Tirith. Like, a uniform that's too big for him. Or did he say
talks about it? He tells Pippin about it and is like
such a like vivid memory of the scene as many times. So in a way, in the books, they are so different. And I don't know if that makes sense or not that they would be so completely the opposite. But then again,
I love Faramir in the books. I kind of like what the movies did I hate what they did to the character, but I like how they showed that like they're not so different, but they made a very different choice and that had a very different outcome. So they sort of like added more tension to their story that way, but also raised Boromir up and pulled Faramir down to do it.
Yeah. And I love that in the books, whenever Faramir talks about Boromir, he's very much like, I love him so much, he's my brother, but also I know how he is. Like I know like you can tell.
Yeah, he doesn't go like, oh no, my brother would never try and take the ring. He's like, yeah, I love him, but he's got weaknesses.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I love him so much. I had a question. Did you see the documentary Behind the Hobbit?
Yes. I don't know if I've seen the documentary. I watched on YouTube, like they were showing the like behind the scenes stuff in the lead up to the movies coming out. And I remember following it so closely at the time, but
wow. No, I wasn't following it at the time, but I watched all the like director diaries afterwards. I just adored the way in The Hobbit they tell you how they came up with like Tranduil, his character, how he looks, how he moves, how he's dressed, and the whole character of oh god, what's her name? What's her name? Yes,
the elf. Yeah.
How they came up with her name and her job, and I just loved watching that, the way they analyzed and they made the story like make sense. That was so fun and so cool.
Have you seen the like various behind the scenes footage from Lord of the Rings movies?
Yes.
Okay, because that is like, honestly, I don't think I would have loved the movies so much from like an early age if that stuff hadn't been there. Because legit, I think every time my siblings and I watched the movies, we would then watch all of the behind the scenes footage. And like, I feel like I know those people, and like, it adds so much to the movies to like know all of those things that they did to create them.
Yeah.
Amazing.
One of my favorite stories from the way they filmed is the fact that I didn't know that the orchestra, the score was recorded, like I'm starting the same sentence 5 times. The musicians who played the score, who recorded the score, they did not practice beforehand. Like they recorded this about the music. And the fact that the first time that the Moria sequence was played was recorded, like the first time it was ever heard was played, and we hear that is just like, how did you even hold your violin when this is happening around you? You're like, oh my
Right?
God, I'm following these notes, but it's making all this sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, the music was a big part of it. When I finished the books, I was, emotional and happy. Also, the ending completely blew me. I did not expect the whole like Shire stuff to continue on and become another thing and another battle. But then I rewatched the movies and I was 100% more emotional after watching the movies. And I think, and actually like watching the movies, I could tell what was the story, what was the way it was filmed. The music is like 90% of what makes it what it is.
Yeah.
The score is
so incredible.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where like I couldn't have imagined that before it existed. But now that it exists, I can't imagine it existing in any other way. It's like, no, this is just too perfect. Like, it has to be like it is.
Yeah. Okay, for my second batch, 2 of them merged together and formed a little butt. Wait, do you see the little butt?
Yep.
Or it can be boobs, whatever you prefer. Bye, Lady Jane. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
We thought it was gonna be like an hour long, and
yeah. I'm glad we chose a short recipe because if we'd chosen one that was going to take like an hour, I imagine it would have been even longer.
Yeah, exactly. Though I would want to try something more hearty. We still have to like officially try them and eat them.
Yes.
I think mine have hardened a little more. I wouldn't crush them still. But
yeah. They feel like delicate cookies. But
can I see yours?
Yeah, they look like this.
It looks like an actual cookie.
Yeah. It's much more like just a plain little cookie.
Mine, first of all, the color is definitely the whole wheat and the date.
Yeah.
But it's very cute.
They are. They look really nice. I bet the date adds a nice flavor to it as well.
I don't know. I can't yours.
That's fair. You can't compare. But
okay, let's go.
You can probably really hear because I'm using my speaker headphones. They're really crunchy.
Mine aren't, but they're so like soft inside and nice. This would be so good.
They're really good. They really would. These are soup. They're nicely spiced. They're like
not too much.
Yeah.
And also, like, I did use less sugar, and I used date paste, and like these are perfectly sweet. Like, I would not want them to be more sweet. I think
I have a major sweet tooth, so I used full and regular sugar. I'd say they're about right. If I was going to change something, I'd add a bit of salt and some vanilla, probably, just to like really round it out a bit. But they're really yummy.
I would squish mine so they're not so round, though I do think it looks cute. But since they're not melting, I'll squish them. I like that you can use like the same recipe and change a few things around and make a completely different thing.
You would never guess that they were from the same recipe.
Yeah, like a little thing. So this is what they eat in the Shire.
This feels very Shire-ish. I totally see Bilbo having a little tin of these that like he makes once or twice a week and like has with his cup of tea. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it says they will keep in an airtight tin for up to 3 days. There's so few of them, even though I made more than it says in the recipe, that I don't know how you would keep these for 3 days.
No. I've already eaten 2 of them and like
I love little babies. Little babies.
Yeah.
They're not super cute in terms of color, but it's okay. Anyway, should we stop here?
I guess we should probably wrap this up.
Have any questions? We have 2 viewers right now. Ask away before we go if you have any questions. If you don't, thank you so much for being with us. And
this was so much fun.
I really want to try like a hearty recipe next.
Yes.
Oh, you know what I remembered? In one of the questions, where was it? Yes, in the question that I asked, I guess, the one food mentioned in the books that you remember being very curious about or wanting to eat it based on its description. They talk so much about mushrooms in the first book.
Yes.
But for some reason, I don't want to eat it. Like, it doesn't sound appealing the way they talk about mushrooms. I don't know why.
So we won't make the mushrooms on toast recipe next time, is what you're saying?
No. Actually, I saw that. I was looking to make the thumbnail. I was looking for different pictures of like food in Middle Earth, and a lot of people are doing the recipe with the mushrooms on toast. And it doesn't sound good to me, honestly.
Fair.
But yeah, we will come up with something else for you next time. Let us know if you enjoyed this format. We can definitely do more. We might do the next one on Rosie's channel. And
that'd be fun.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. And this was really cool.
Let us know if you like the recipe, because I will type it in. I don't know how strict people are about like sharing recipes from
as long as we say that it's like from this cookbook by this author, it's probably okay.
Okay, because I wasn't sure. Like, can we say this or not?
I think so.
We'll do it either way. We're not scared.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye, I guess.
Bye.
Bye.